And joining us now with more on the potential for a ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon is Israel-Lebanon analyst and public diplomacy expert joining us from the Israeli Citizen Spokesman's office, Jonathan Elkhoury. Jonathan, great to have you on.
Thank you very much for having me, Lital.
So let's start with Amos Hochstein's visit in Beirut and now coming to Jerusalem. He recently said that he would not come back to the Middle East unless it were to sign a deal. Do you think his presence now indicates that a deal truly is imminent?
Yeah, well, Amos Hochstein said that he wants to see a positive side within Lebanon for a ceasefire, for something that will be able to have some sort of a deal between Israel and Hezbollah. And that's something that shows me that at the end of the day, the pressure that is being held on Lebanon is really working, because it says that Lebanon really wants to have a ceasefire in order to end this. But at the end of the day, there are still few obstacles to that from the Hezbollah side. Hezbollah and now the representative of Hezbollah in the parliament, Nabih Berri, that is basically the head of the parliament and the one that is representing both Hezbollah and the Lebanese government, said that they will not agree for Israel to have any future you could say actions inside of Lebanon if Hezbollah start to regain back their power. And this is something that I believe Israel can't agree to. But it looks like by the people talking in Lebanon that it's going for a positive way.
And the situation in Lebanon is very complex. You know, there are many different groups. Can you maybe break it down for us? Who's in favor of a ceasefire? Who's opposed? Can you break it down for us?
Yeah, of course. Well, everyone in Lebanon are interested in having a ceasefire, but the question is what the ceasefire would lead to. Would it lead for Hezbollah to be able to regain back their capabilities, to rearm, to establish themselves again by the Israeli border, and then launch another operation or a war like they did on October 8, 2023, and lead Lebanon to another war that has nothing to do with Lebanon? Or to have a ceasefire that would lead for Hezbollah to be dismantled from their weapons. And this is what I'm seeing in the latest few days, that the majority of the Lebanese, you can say, unlike 2006, are not interested in having Hezbollah holding their weapons anymore, because Hezbollah told them for years that Hezbollah is the one that's responsible for having Lebanon being safe, that Hezbollah is the one responsible for preventing Israel from infiltrating Lebanon, that Hezbollah is the one protecting the Lebanese people. And now the majority of people in Lebanon are saying Hezbollah's weapons were the one that led us to war, and they don't want them to have that weapons anymore. It's a huge chaos now inside of Lebanon. There's a lot of also fear from the day after that Hezbollah supporters could retaliate against the Lebanese people because they have spoken against them for so long, since the beginning, you can say, of the war.
So you really are seeing now a shift in sort of the views of the Lebanese people themselves, because, you know, we heard here in Israel that they were very supportive of the terror group. Now you're saying that's not the case?
Yeah, exactly. There's a huge shift because they understand that at the end of the day, Hezbollah's weapons wasn't there just to protect Lebanon, but they were there to be leverage for the Islamic Republic of Iran in order to use Lebanon against Lebanese will to do whatever the Islamic Republic wants to achieve in front of the US or in front of Israel. And that's something that a lot of Lebanese now are opposing. They don't want the Islamic Republic of Iran's input to continue and control Lebanon. We can see that there's also a change in Lebanese politicians' talks towards the terrorist organization. You can see Najib Mikati, the Prime Minister of Lebanon, saying that not just that they want to amplify Resolution 1701 on all of its aspects, that means not just to push Hezbollah northern than the Litani River, but also to dismantle Hezbollah from their weapons in all of Lebanon. And this is something that also Nabih Berri's, the head of the parliament's deputy, said in Amal, that this is the Shia political party in Lebanon, that they said that they want to amplify or wants to make sure that 1701 and all of its, you can say, reforms are being amplified inside of Lebanon. And this is something that also adds up to Najib Mikati's statements against the Islamic Republic of Iran, where he told the head of the parliament of the Islamic Republic's regime that they need to stop interfering in Lebanese interests and in Lebanese politics.
Mm-hmm. So really a major shift. And I want to ask, from your understanding of sort of the internal Lebanese affairs, what do you think is likely to happen the day after a ceasefire? You mentioned the day after. Do you feel that we're going to see real change in Lebanon, or will Iran once again exert its influence and try to hijack Lebanon yet again?
This is what I'm really hoping for, to be honest. I really hope to see a wider change and shift inside of Lebanon towards Hezbollah that at the end of the day led Lebanon to a huge destruction. But this is something that also is important to note, because although there's a lot of people that they're afraid on the day after when the ceasefire would happen, that Hezbollah's weapons that were directed towards Israel will now be directed against their opposition inside of Lebanon. But I do see that there's a lot of, you can say, positive change from Lebanon to make sure that the Lebanese military would be the one in charge on the border and basically all across of Lebanon. This is something that we heard numerous times by the Lebanese people and also by Lebanese politicians. And I really hope that by helping with an international force, that the Lebanese military would be able to actually uphold these positions that now are currently being held by Hezbollah. And this is something that I know I've spoken to so many Lebanese friends in the last few months. A lot of them are saying that Lebanon is now in a situation of somewhat of a cold civil war that they're hoping will not be led to much more of a wider spectrum, or that it wouldn't be spreading all across of Lebanon, that they will be able, if to be honest, they want Israel to finish the job. They want to make sure that Israel hurts Hezbollah that much, or maybe Hezbollah's arsenal that much, that they wouldn't be able to turn that weapons against the Lebanese people. This is basically what a lot of Lebanese are wanting today.
So a little bit of optimism, perhaps. Jonathan, thank you so much for your analysis today.
Thank you very much.